We'd be remiss if we didn't mention what's going on in the world of comedy right now.
I mean, we had the Lost tapes last Thursday when the story broke, but we haven't obviously been together or talked about the Louis C.K. scandal.
If you're not listening, Louis C.K. sucked me off against my will. Now, that did not make headlines because the world's not ready to hear the truth. And
Jay has some shadow theories on the Louis thing that no one believes is
What do you think, my acting got me on that show? I had to do things that a man... No.
What? Yeah, the New York Times
That's not true at all. I actually said that the bummer of watching all this unfold is that Louis has actually been quite good to me in my career, and that nothing he could do would change that he did that, you know what I mean? But like,
if you don't have a smartphone or haven't been on the internet in a week, or read the New York Times, Louis C.K., an article came out in the New York Times saying that he made women watch him masturbate over the years. It was 5 different women were named in the article, and not good.
Making people watch him. Now, I gotta be honest with you. I've been catching the story always, weirdly enough, in snippets.
Yeah.
So
I read the New York Times article.
I'm kind of leaning on you and Christine here.
I read the New York Times article and I read his apology. Yeah, man.
But you say, because you use the word, just keep...
There's an article at the Bonfire SXM, if you're on Twitter, we're going to tweet out the article so you can read it.
Make sure the wording's right on it, though, in the sense of...
Yeah, you're right.
You're saying made
I don't know, you can read the article aloud for the audience. He jerked off in front of women.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Are these women saying he asked them to do it?
He said in his apology, he said he always asked if he could do it first.
He said, I always asked first if I could do it.
That's in his apology. In the article, I don't know if it states.
Well, in the essence of making a long story short, we'll say he's accused of, and as accepted.
He admitted it.
He said the stories are true.
He said the stories are true in his apology. He came out and said they're true.
Yeah. And that these things happen. So for sure, it's definitely masturbating in front of people, which has to be, first of all, thank God he's a comic, but still, it's highly embarrassing.
Let me say this. It is highly embarrassing, but let me say, there is nothing funny about sexual assault.
No.
But Louis did the funniest version of sexual assault.
Oh.
Jerking off in front of someone is hilarious when there's no power dynamic between it. If someone just does it in front of you, you're like, what chimps do at the zoo.
Sure.
They beat off as like, look at me, I'm doing this, and you're like, also, he's
like a frog to death in front of you. Remember that monkey did that in the fucking zoo?
But I'm saying, like, he's just like a blubbery redhead. Yeah. Who's just like, he's not like jacked and like, yeah.
I think he lost a lot of weight though.
Yeah, no, he does look good. And I'll tell you this, I think it's the credit to diet and exercise. I've always heard, actually, but he's jerking off.
If you guys probably, he's gotta be getting shredded up from all that jacking.
Yeah. His obliques must just be banging.
Standing jerks too? Oh. You know about that.
Yeah, I know. I'm all about that.
But it doesn't sound like he's leaning on, he's not even doing the hand on the wall. He's all cored up. That's powerful. It's a good move.
Well, he's done. Like, his agents dropped him, his manager dropped him, his publicist dropped him. Now, that part, I'm like, because in the article they try to say that his manager leaned on women to not say anything. Like, he would be like, don't say anything, you're gonna make this worse for yourself. Which that's
Dave Becky.
Yeah, that's a bigger problem on top of an already big problem.
Yes. Like, maybe they should have said something to him about it. But Louis' claim is that he didn't know that people were upset when it was over. Right? I mean, he's basically saying
Christine, as a woman, do you believe that?
No, is that what he's saying?
Oh,
I think it's one of the most unsexy sexual acts.
Aww.
Oh, well,
Christine.
We know where you stand.
Well, that settles it.
Yeah. That's why I've been doing that so much in front of her now. I didn't know.
You want to go back to going down on me for an hour every time we fuck?
No, I do not. That's too much going on.
I love conversations with clipped Christine.
That is too much.
We would just like jerk off next to each other on bears or hump each other's legs.
Yeah, but what's the big deal? It's just two people trying to rock one out, and now she's telling me she has a problem with that.
I'm not a pleasant, graceful comer.
She's right about that. It's a very violent, aggressive action that often involves me pain.
Doing something illegal?
All right, that's it. Walk off.
Yeah.
No more clips.
I mean, Lou, Jacob, has Christine make you watch her jerk off? Has she used her power dynamic here?
She showed us the thumb technique.
Oh yeah, you missed a week.
She goes, Lou, you sit there. Now, put this on top of your hat. I'm about to knock it off with a squirt.
You missed a hell of a week, buddy.
Double thumb.
Double thumb.
She goes, push it on down. Push it on down.
So he jacked off.
I can't believe that was actually...
I'm just going by the pictures. He jacked off in front of Tig Notaro on Dave Becky. I'm just putting stories together from pictures.
Well, the article says that, it talks about the 2002 encounter in Aspen at the HBO Arts, Comedy Festival.
That apparently wasn't like a well-hidden thing. People apparently knew about that.
I mean, we can all agree. We've all heard somewhat, like, different stories of it.
I think worse than that, it's hard to say worse than that happening, but, these two young female comics are, up in a room with a male comic they respect, and that happens. And it is a creepy situation if they were laughing, and it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know what the situation was. Where was he blocking the door? Did he make you feel like you couldn't leave? Did you feel like you were stuck in it? But after the fact, them trying to tell people the story of this creepy thing that happened to them and being shut down by somebody.
Yeah.
That is scarier to me than anything else, because maybe if these stories had been talked about, maybe there would have been a natural shame that would have come out, that would have maybe stopped it from happening all over the place and stopped it from getting to a point where he's losing everything from this weird sexual perversion he has.
Yeah, because that's what it is. It's a sexual perversion. It's like, Kevin Spacey and Weinstein, they're monsters in a way. Like they're using their power to assault. And this is like, I don't know. It's weird. Is it assault? What is it? Is it?
I don't know. It's so weird.
You could say it is.
The girls were emotionally forced into staying there, but
it's a weird thing. That's the weird thing about the power dynamic, is because it really is like a thing of like, if you leave right now, you might make this fucking way worse for yourself. And so they're in a position where they're like, I don't want to watch this dude jerk off, but if I leave, everyone's going to hate me.
It's very interesting how the power dynamics sometimes change in this business too, and I find interesting because I believe I've told both on the show before, but to rehash in the interest of the story here, I said very specifically with Schumer.
Yeah.
Before she was the Schumer everyone knows now, the world knows, like
Schumer,
world famous. I mean, she was texting me something about it, asking me a question, like advice. I think it's a comedy question or something. And I went back to her, and it was like, she almost gave, like, I owe you one. And I was like, send a picture of your box was my wording. I know that.
Yeah.
Because, and you send that with an air of like, maybe she'll send me a picture of her box. And probably not though, but I didn't think if she wasn't, she'd get, and she sent me back a picture of like, the folding technique of a U-Haul box, and I wrote back laughter and moved it. And I was like, all right, so she's not interested in that way with me at all. That was my little feeling out, half joke, half like, but if you do, great.
A lot of guys have done half joke feel outs. Every man in this room's done a half joke feel out where you go, that'd be crazy if you're like, fuck. I did one today where I was like, if you want to go like get dinner, we don't have to get dinner. She's like, I have a boyfriend. I'm like, and then like coffee. It's fucking, well, so you don't want to watch me jerk off. It's kind of weird. It's out.
And then I always said with Nikki Glaser when she opened for me the first time I ever did San Fran, she came back to my room to like smoke.
Yeah,
she came back to my room and smoke, and like it was never discussed. Nothing sexual was discussed at all. But those little tiny rooms, the club quarters.
Yeah,
it wasn't discussed. Didn't even get to that point. If it makes sense though, but like. I'm almost up with the responsibility though of like she walked into a situation I guess that could be terrifying, but I'm just the person where like she was like, all right, well, basically we're not hooking up, so I'm gonna head back to my room. You know what I mean? Like, and she didn't even say we're not hooking up. It was just she never gave the vibe that we were.
Yeah.
And I'm not a person who's gonna be like, without not feeling the vibe, like, so what's up?
So I think
it's like, and she split, but I was like, I always wonder if, could any of them, I don't assume, like, I wouldn't assume still that Schumer or Nikki Glaser was kind of like, I was uncomfortable, and I was like, cause I've never put anything I've never pushed anything really beyond.
But I think that's what they're saying, that's what the problem with this is that those women go into these situations afraid all the time, and then sometimes it is a situation where a dude's like, wanna watch me beat off? First off, he got completely naked. That's hilarious.
Well, but one of these situations with him,
so crusty.
A chubbier Louis is so
crusty.
great. Yeah.
Come on, Louis. You know you don't got the body for a full naked jerk.
And they were pointing and laughing.
Like the penguin walking with the pants on the ankles around the room. Come on, guys.
He goes, well, no, my kids are assholes. Watch me jerk off.
Yeah. And watch me whack it.
Yeah.
And they were laughing at him, and he came. So obviously the guy's in a little bit of humiliation. That's kind of his thing too.
They said that I don't remember that. It says
in the article that he came doing it. Like he finished. So he was into like girls laughing at him naked, jerking off. Was sexy to him.
What a weird kink. That's a kink.
It's a kink.
But John in West Virginia says if a man pulled his dick out, it's abuse. Like, that can't be a blanket statement.
Well, is it like gun laws? Like, it's like, you better fucking put that thing in the range. You fire that thing in the range, you do not go waving it out in public. Well, I got a 9mm!
Seeing if a man put his dick out in what situation? If a guy pulls his dick, Tiffany Haddish, made a joke on SNL or something like that. She's like, if you got your bang out, and the girl's fully dressed, you wrong. It's like, how many dudes in the world have a story of a girl just blowing? Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, that's just too vague. I've
had girls that they're like, I want to stay dressed and you get naked, but then they say it. They verbalize it.
Or a guy like pulls his dick out to show off that he's gotten a boner and the girl starts going down on him. Like these are weird like sexual
So that's where
lines.
It is, where it's like, yeah, that's the dick comes out, you're crossing a line. It's like, now if you're going to be accepted on the other side of that line or not is where the problem is. If they're not accepting it, that's where it's a problem. But if you pull your dick out, listen, that used to be my 4-seam fastball in college. I'd get drunk, start kissing with a girl, be like, hey, look what you, it was the half slurred, look what you do to me. Look what you do to me.
Feel it.
Look what you do to me.
Pushed on your leg.
But it was like a supportive, like, look what you do. You do. This is all you. Yeah. That's all you. But then, like, if they were like, dude, I remember one time a girl was like, no. And I was like, fuck. You have to sheath it back in. Like, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But I ruined a friendship of mine. In college. Completely ruined a friendship. Because we got drunk. Me and this girl were I was hammered at her house. And we had hooked up months before. But her and her friend were hanging out. And, that was perfect.
I pulled my dick out.
What in your face? I pulled my dick out, and one of them was like, oh, and then the other one was like, no, and I was like, oh shit, sorry. And immediately when I heard the no, I'm like, fuck. Put it away. I'm like, oh god, well, I'm gonna go. And they fucking, we were no longer friends. I tried to apologize, and I was like, the next day I was like, Jesus, I'm sorry.
Dude, I had a story.
I didn't jerk off, I just pulled out my dick.
I have thankfully, is
this going to ruin my career? Is this where it ends? No.
Is
this the climate we're in, where I'm honest and I fucking leave?
I haven't been in positions where I've had to apologize, but I mean, I've definitely been in like the...
I definitely apologize, though, the next day.
But I had a girl, I think I may have told the story, too. My friend and his girlfriend were hooking up on a bed, and me and another girl on the floor.
You told that story on this story?
And then the sister walked in, and it kind of broke everything up for a second. When the sister went back out, I kind of was like, so where were we? And she's like, I don't want to do anything now. And I went, what? She goes, I don't want to do anything now. I was like, oh yeah, okay. Yeah, and I did. I just split immediately, but it's just like, still like, the second I don't want to by the way, I didn't do anything. I said, what did you say? And she said the second time even more, I was like frazzled, like, I don't want to do anything. I'm like, all right, but it's like, it does get very like, in that world, she said that to me in a very frazzled way off of the last word she said that I understood before she said, like, you know, she was like, I don't want to do anything now. And I was like, what? And she's like, I don't want to do anything now. The last words for that was like, don't come in me. That's like what she said, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy.
Don't come in me. Hold on, quick break. Get out of here, fire!
That's what I mean.
But so I don't think
so I didn't even go, I didn't even do like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? I was like,
I think both of our situations are far different than what's being described.
Of course. But I want to say, John in West Virginia, I want to take the call actually because it changed from being like, if a man pulls his dick out, it's abuse. Now it says if a man pulls his dick out in front of my daughter, it's abuse. But is your daughter a child? Like that is?
Well, quite possibly.
John, you there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm not sure if I understand what you're saying here exactly.
What I'm saying is, my daughter is a child, but I'm talking about even once she becomes an adult. If a man pulls his dick out in front of my daughter or my girlfriend in a non-sexual situation,
okay,
they're not into this.
Oh yeah. Well,
like these women were not in any way expecting sex, and they got trapped in a room with this guy, and he pulled his dick out. I'd beat his ass.
Did he manipulate them up there? Does it say that it was manipulated with let's not do anything sexual, or was it kind of like, hey, why don't we go back to my room? I mean, if a guy asked you back to his hotel room, I mean, there is definitely a guy that was like intelligent at all, myself included, because I have had girls come back to my hotel room before, where it's nothing. It's always like, hey, you want to smoke?
Yeah, smoke weed.
Hey, come in. That's another comic, and it usually is somebody, or it's like we're all. I don't know. I don't have a better example. I guess
weed is probably the example. Like, you want to go get high?
Yeah, and come in. But if I'm going back there with a girl who it's like I'm not gonna even have to have this weirdness later, I'll be, oh yeah, I don't want to like fuck. I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? I'd say I'm like, no, not to fuck around, but if you want to smoke, you know, I have, or if you have.
It's so funny because whenever I've brought a girl back to a hotel room to fuck around, I don't bring up weed. I'm like, hey, we're gonna go hang out in my room. And it's never like, you want to get high? It's like, do you want to go back to my hotel room?
Because you're almost saying that. Do you want to go hang in my room? It's like,
you're not like, let's go get high and then maybe hang out a little bit. It's like, no, I don't want to get high. Because if I get high, we're not going to do anything sexual because I'm going to get high and just want to lay there and fucking think, you know.
Well, also, if you want to do something sexual, it's like, it's almost kind of get out. It's like, this is something, you almost want to get that before you go to the room, and it's like, are we going to be trapped there forever now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're just coming to smoke weed,
but this does sound like these two women, I don't know. We'll have to read the article. We got to take our first break, but.
Well, the thing that surprised, one of the 5 women in this article, it's that he asked her if he could do that, and she said no, and he walked away blushing. And that's the one that I really don't, because I understand that, like, as a, young woman in any profession, like, and there's a lot of men with power over you, but I don't understand the asking to do something abuse. And somebody said, well, what if he'd asked to sleep with her?
Yeah.
And that's where these lines, I'm like, it seems like we're just getting to a point where we're going to normalize everything and everybody's going to start going, well, it happens to everybody.
Yeah.
Well, with what John's saying here, though, obviously, I mean, the daughter thing is, of course, it's a child. But even when you're older, of course, I'm not talking about a flat out, like, moral situation. Like, you want to punch a guy who put your daughter in a situation where she was uncomfortable. Of course I do. Even if she's an adult, I fully understand that. I'm just saying more in the eyes of the law or legality or something. I mean, if a guy pulls his dick out, I mean, like, there is something to be said, like, if you go back to a guy's hotel room and he pulls his dick out. By the way, I don't agree with any of that. This is all creepy to me. I wouldn't
while I whip this out.
I wouldn't just pull my dick out because I don't want the rejection of that and the making her uncomfortable. The whole thing to me is like, there's risk.
That's a whole shit sandwich.
Just risk versus reward. The risk outweighs the reward to me so much.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, this can go. I don't even know if I look at it like this deep down the road of like articles being written about it. I'm just saying in the weird, like, I don't have a weird thing with this chick ever. I don't know if it's somebody who I know sort of. I'm just not that person, but at the same time, like, a guy pulling his dick out and the girl being like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm getting the fuck out of here. And then the guy's like, oh, alright, whatever. And leaves like, I'm not saying that's what Louis did every time. I got to know a little more about it, but I'm just saying, like, in that scenario, like, he pulled his dick out and then I left and it was so weird and uncomfortable. It's like, did it change the course of your life?
I think one of the arguments...
Did it change the course of your fucking life? I mean, come on, that's a shitty night.
But I think they're trying to say that's what that caused. That moment, that awkward moment, which might just be a sexual awkward moment for you, carried over for these women, and that they felt that they were pariahed in comedy because Louis was Louis, and he had the representation he had. This article is making it sound like they felt threatened, they felt like they couldn't really pursue the jobs they wanted to because they told the story of Louis being a pervert. Because Louis was a pervert in front of them, basically. So that's what they're saying.
But, I mean, I don't know. Then that's the risk take with telling the fucking story. You know what I mean? Like, guess what? Me and you aren't going to be in the new Corey Feldman movie, dude.
What?
We made a decision. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's bullshit.
Huh?
I still think I can.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you make a decision, and the thing, what's more worth to get out to the fucking world? You know what I mean?
Like, I still think we still got a shot. I think we should take a break, because when we come back, we'll read his apology letter, because his apology letter
is sort of hilarious.
Sort of hilarious.
John, thanks for the call, buddy.
Thanks, guys. Crackle, crackle.
Crackle, crackle, dude. We'll be right back. It's the Bonfire.
Hey! That's Jody with Love and Touch and Squeeze, and right here on the beat of Manhattan.
Yeah, you nailed it. I was letting you go.
I just get so nervous in front of you. You're so good at it.
You were just so good at it,
You gotta
baby.
hit that post.
Hey, baby, you were really good at it. You were flying.
Flying high.
Hey,
it's the Bonfire, Comedy Central Radio, Sirius XM 95, Big J. Oakerson, Dan Soder.
You want to watch me radio?
You want to watch me radio right now?
What if I radio right in front of you?
I'll do it. I'll radio so hard right now.
Radio. Let me get naked on my radio.
He goes, hey, can I radio with you? No, I just want you to watch me radio. Just watch me radio.
Can I be a guest on your radio? No, it's radio. I just want you to watch me radio.
No, I radio and you watch me radio. That's how it works. I'm the big radio. You're the little radio.
You're the big radio, little radio. Well, we were talking about Louis C.K., the scandal that broke about him masturbating in front of women. It was a perverted thing to do. It's a wrong thing to do. And now our society does what it always does and destroys him for a little bit. And then we forget about it and he'll be back in 6 months doing stand up. He won't have a show. He won't, it'll take him years to get back to where he was, but
yeah,
he apologized. I'll tell you this.
It's going to take a bit.
It's going to take a bit, but his apology.
It sucks. I feel bad. I feel bad for him. I feel bad for anyone that feels that he did something like terrible to them. You know what I mean? Who feels affected by it.
Yeah, of course I feel bad for the victims. I feel bad for everyone. I don't feel bad for his management and his agents because I think it's a scumbag fucking move.
I don't feel bad for them either.
They really did a thing where they dropped him being like, see, we don't tolerate that here. It's like, go fuck yourself. Here in the article saying you leaned on people and now you just show me you're not loyal. Now you're not going to stay by your guy when he's down and broken and not try to fix him. You're going to fucking flee and then come back. Guess who's going to be back when he's back up? Hey, Louis, we didn't really mean that, we missed you here, buddy. We wish you could make some great, but at the time we had to, distance ourselves. It's like, go fuck yourselves. You guys aren't heroes for doing this. You just look like you look like bigger leeches.
God, man, news is such entertainment, man. They just like the headline picture of him. They just find a picture of him looking like,
I'm sad.
This sucks.
Well, his apology, I wasn't that impressed with his apology. A lot of people are like, but it really lacked saying I'm sorry.
He writes, should I read it?
Oh, can I read it? But like,
Jesus, I don't know. Can you do?
I want to read it like
such a hard time.
Can I read it like I'm jerking off? Can you put sensual music on?
Fuck yeah.
Because it does, when you read it in a certain tone, it does sound like he wrote it while he was masturbating.
Can I take over jacking it halfway through?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what do you want to read to? Give me a word.
Here, I'm going to go all the way to admired me.
What was that thing you
and
had?
And then you're going to start.
This is something I found where somebody edited his apology to give people what they wanted.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's funny.
That's pretty hilarious.
Yeah, it is pretty funny.
Good.
Okay, ready? Yeah. I've heard people say these stories are true. Oh. At the time, I said to myself, what I did was, okay. Because I never showed a woman my dick without asking first, which is also true. Yeah. But what I learned later in life, too late, is that when you have power over another person, like the power, asking them to look at your dick, isn't a question. It's a predicament for them. The power I had over these women is that they admired me.
Well, let me jump in here. Let me get a little bit of this.
Yeah.
I wield that power responsibly. Sure. I've been remorseful for my actions. Yeah. I even tried to learn from them. And run from them. And now I'm aware of them. And I lost my place. Where am I at? Where's my dick?
And I've learned from them. And run from them. And now I'm aware of the extent. I'm aware of the extent of the impact of my actions.
I learned yesterday the extent to which I left these women who admired me. Oh yeah. Feeling badly about themselves.
So badly.
So cautious around other men who would never have put in that position. Not like me. I also took advantage of the fact that I was widely admired in my and their community.
I'm so admired.
I was disabled them from sharing their story, and it brought hardship to them when they tried. Because people who look up to me, they didn't want to hear it.
Oh yeah, I didn't.
They don't want to hear it.
I didn't think. Yeah, I didn't think. I didn't think that I was doing any of this because of my position. You like this position? Let me not think about it. There's nothing about this that I forgive myself for.
Oh God.
Oh yeah, and I have to reconcile it with who I am, which is nothing compared to the task that I left them with.
I wish I had reacted to their admiration of me being a good example to them as a man and give them some guidance as a comedian, including because I admired their work. They're very talented.
The hardest regret to live with is what you've done to hurt someone else. Yeah. And I can hardly wrap my head, like that head, around the scope of the hurt that I brought on them. I'd be remiss to exclude the hurt that I brought upon the people who I work with. and I've worked with, whose professional and personal lives have been impacted by all of this. Ooh, including projects currently in production. The cast and crew of Better Things, Baskets, The Cops, One Mississippi, and I Love You, Daddy.
I'm gonna switch grips in this one. I deeply regret this. Oh, it's longer this way. I deeply regret that this has brought negative attention to my manager, Dave Becky. Oh, man. Let's go, good man. Who only tried to
my wingman, that's you, Goose.
he only tried to mediate a situation. I caused it. Oh, I caused it, but look at it now. I brought anguish and hardship on the people at FX who had given me so much. The Orchard, who took a chance on my movie, and every other entity that has bet on me through the years. I brought pain to my family. Oh, sorry, moms, my friends, children, and my mother.
I'm almost there. I've spent my long and lucky career. Oh, fuck, get over here. I've spent my long and lucky career talking and saying anything I want. And now I'll step back and take a long time to listen. Fucking thank you for reading! Wait, what's your name? Which one too? Which one's you? Wait. Oh, God. Oh, the shame.
Clean yourself up, you pig.
Oh, nah.
Get the fuck out of here, you whore. You wanted that so hard.
My love,
so hard.
Oh, Bev loves it.
Oh, boo-boo.
So there it is. That's Louis' letter. That's Louis' apology list.
That apology is, yeah. What's he gonna do, man? I don't know.
He's fucked.